Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now. What if I told you that the Los Angeles Dodgers, the most star-studded roster in baseball, a team overflowing with household names and $100 million contracts, named their opening day starter for the 2026 season based not on seniority, not on politics, not on market value, but simply because one man was so undeniably, historically, jaw-droppingly good that the decision required about 30 seconds of deliberation? What if I told you this same man, just a few months earlier, had thrown a complete game one night, come back the very next evening to pitch in relief out of the bullpen on 0 days rest, and somehow had the exact same stuff he had the previous night? What if the Dodgers manager, a man who has won multiple World Series titles and coached some of the greatest players the game has ever seen, looked at this pitcher immediately after the final out and shouted to anyone who could hear him that this guy was the greatest of all time? That pitcher is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and the story of how a 5'10" right-hander from Okayama, Japan became the face of the Los Angeles Dodgers franchise, and the man standing on that opening day mound on March 26, 2026, is one of the most extraordinary stories in the recent history of the sport. Before we get to the champagne and the hardware, you need to understand exactly what the Dodgers were investing in when they first put pen to paper on Yamamoto's contract. Coming out of Japan's Nippon Professional Baseball following the 2023 season, Yamamoto had built the most decorated resume the NPB had ever seen. Between 2021 and 2023, he won 3 consecutive Pacific League Most Valuable Player awards. He won 3 Eiji Sawamura Awards, the Japanese equivalent of the Cy Young. He won 3 consecutive Triple Crowns, leading the league in wins, strikeouts, and earned run average in all 3 of those seasons. He threw 2 no-hitters. He was a central figure in Oryx's 2022 Japan Series Championship. In the history of Nippon Professional Baseball, nobody had ever assembled a 3-year run like that. He was not just the best pitcher in Japan, he was operating in a category entirely his own. The question the entire baseball world was asking was whether any of that would translate to Major League Baseball. NPB is elite professional baseball. But the jump to the majors, the velocity of pitches, the quality of lineups, the wear of a 5-man rotation rather than the once-per-week schedule he was accustomed to in Japan had humbled talented players before him. The Dodgers did not blink. They signed Yamamoto to a 12-year, $325 million contract, the largest deal ever given to a pitcher in the history of professional baseball, before he had thrown a single pitch in the major leagues. That is not a calculated gamble. That is a franchise-level statement of belief in a player unlike almost any other in the modern game. Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers front office looked at every piece of data available, watched every pitch Yamamoto had thrown, and decided they were looking at a generational talent. They were right. His 2024 rookie season was disrupted by a forearm injury that cost him significant time, but when healthy, he showed enough to confirm the organization's faith. Then came 2025, and the full, uninterrupted version of Yoshinobu Yamamoto arrived in Major League Baseball. He went 12-8 with a 2.49 ERA across 30 regular season starts, finished third in National League Cy Young Award voting, a finish that most observers felt was too low given how little run support he received all season, was named to his first career MLB All-Star Game, and in September delivered one of the most tantalizing individual performances of the entire year. On September 6th against the Baltimore Orioles, Yamamoto carried a no-hitter into the 9th inning with 2 outs before Jackson Holliday broke it up with a home run. That near miss against a competitive lineup on a September evening was the clearest signal yet that Yamamoto was not just a good pitcher in Los Angeles, he was a historic one waiting to happen. The postseason began quietly enough. In Game 2 of the wildcard series against the Cincinnati Reds, he allowed only 2 unearned runs across 6 2/3 innings while striking out 9. Sharp, efficient, dominant. In the NLDS against the Philadelphia Phillies, he ran into trouble in Game 3, lasting only 4 innings while allowing 3 runs, the kind of clunker every elite pitcher encounters at some point in a postseason run. But rather than letting it define his October, Yamamoto treated it as a single data point and moved on. The NLCS against the Milwaukee Brewers brought the moment that announced to every baseball fan watching that something truly special was unfolding. In Game 2 against Milwaukee, Yamamoto was handed the ball and proceeded to throw a 111-pitch complete game, allowing only 1 run on 3 hits while striking out 7. It was the first complete game of his MLB career. It was the first time any pitcher had thrown his first career complete game in the playoffs since Josh Beckett did it in 2003. It was also the first complete game by any Dodgers pitcher in the postseason since Jose Lima in the 2004 NLCS. One complete game, multiple historical footnotes attached to it simultaneously. That is the Yamamoto experience. But nothing, not the no-hit bid, not the NLCS complete game, not the $325 million contract, not the 3 NPB Triple Crowns, prepared the baseball world for what was coming in the World Series against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays were not a soft opponent. Their offense had been the most prolific in the American League all season, capable of scoring on any pitcher on any given night. They had knocked off the New York Yankees in the ALCS to get here. They were dangerous, deep, and absolutely capable of matching anything the Dodgers rotation could offer. Yamamoto drew the Game 2 assignment after the Dodgers dropped Game 1, and he responded with the kind of performance that people will be referencing in baseball conversations for decades. 9 complete innings of one-run baseball, 4 hits allowed, 8 strikeouts, 105 pitches, a complete game win in the World Series, the first by any Dodger since Orel Hershiser in 1988. He became the first pitcher to throw multiple complete games in the same postseason since Madison Bumgarner in 2014, and the first to throw them in back-to-back games since Curt Schilling in 2001. In a single start, Yamamoto placed himself alongside 2 of the most celebrated postseason pitching performances in the 21st century. The Dodgers leveled the series. The series went back and forth, the Blue Jays pushing Los Angeles to the brink with a 3-2 lead heading into Game 6. Elimination game, win or go home. Yamamoto took the ball. He went 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, struck out 6, and threw 96 pitches. The Dodgers won 3-1 and forced a Game 7. Yamamoto had pitched a gem in an elimination game, with the franchise's back against the wall, and delivered exactly what was needed. His manager, Dave Roberts, had initially ruled out any possibility of Yamamoto appearing in Game 7 after a 96-pitch outing the previous night. In modern baseball, that is the reasonable and responsible call. Pitchers are protected. Arms are managed carefully. You do not ask your ace to come back on 0 days rest after pitching 6 innings the night before, not in Game 7 of the World Series, not with a $325 million investment on the line. And then the 9th inning arrived, and the Dodgers needed someone. The Blue Jays had runners on base. The bullpen was thin. The season was 1 bad inning away from ending. Yamamoto went to the bullpen to warm up. Roberts had not told him to. The left side of the Dodgers dugout had not summoned him. Yamamoto simply picked up a baseball, started throwing, and made himself available. Roberts looked at what he saw in the bullpen and made a decision that no amount of modern analytics could fully justify, and every human being watching fully understood. Yamamoto came in from the bullpen in the 9th inning of Game 7 of the World Series on 0 days rest, 1 day after a 96-pitch start, entered with 2 runners on base, and got the outs. He then returned for the 10th inning. He returned for the 11th. He retired the Blue Jays in order in the 10th. In the bottom of the 11th, with the Dodgers having taken a 5-4 lead on a Will Smith go-ahead home run, Yamamoto induced a double play from Alejandro Kirk to end the World Series. The Los Angeles Dodgers were back-to-back World Series champions, and the man standing on the mound when the final out was recorded had now thrown 34 pitches across 2 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. 1 day after throwing 96 pitches in a starts, after throwing a complete game 4 days before that. In the span of 1 week in the World Series alone, Yamamoto threw 235 total pitches. He finished the Fall Classic going 3-0 with a 1.02 ERA, striking out 15 batters in 17 2/3 innings. He became only the 14th pitcher in baseball history to record 3 wins in a single World Series, and the first since Randy Johnson did it for the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2001. He was the first pitcher ever to record 3 road wins in a single World Series. He became the second Japanese-born player to ever win the World Series MVP award, joining Hideki Matsui of the 2009 Yankees. Roberts stood in the middle of the celebration and shouted it as plainly as he possibly could. Yamamoto is the greatest of all time. His teammates immediately broke into chants, first his name, then MVP, MVP, MVP. When asked afterward whether he had known he could pitch that night, Yamamoto said through an interpreter that he had not been sure until he went to the bullpen. He said he was glad he was able to. That is the Yamamoto way. No theatrics, no grand declarations, just a man who goes out and pitches night after night, start after start, complete game after complete game until the job is done. And so when the Dodgers named Yamamoto as their opening day starter for the 2026 season on March 26th against the Arizona Diamondbacks, the announcement landed not as a surprise but as a coronation. It was his second consecutive opening day start following his 2025 opening day win in Tokyo. But this time it is at home. Dodger Stadium, full crowd, the defending champions raising their banner and putting the best pitcher in baseball on the mound to tell the rest of the league that nothing has changed. The Dodgers are still here. They are still the standard. Manager Dave Roberts put it simply when he said it was a pretty easy decision given the honor that opening day carries, and that getting Yamamoto that start at home in front of the Dodger Stadium faithful was going to be something special. The larger mission is something the baseball world has not seen in a quarter century. The Dodgers are chasing a third consecutive World Series title, a feat that would make them the first team to accomplish it since the 1998 through 2000 New York Yankees dynasty, a team that many still regard as the gold standard of modern baseball excellence. 3 straight championships in the current era of baseball, with a $300 million luxury tax payroll and every other team in the sport dedicating significant resources to ending your dynasty, is a monumental task. The landscape of modern baseball is designed to prevent exactly this kind of sustained dominance. Revenue sharing, the draft, the amateur international market. Every structural mechanism in the sport exists in part to give every other team a chance to catch up. And yet here stand the Dodgers, 2 titles in a row, their best pitcher healthy and locked in for 9 more years of the largest pitching contract ever signed, with Shohei Ohtani, who won his second consecutive MVP award in 2025, standing in the same lineup, and Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and a rotation that also includes Roki Sasaki and Tyler Glasnow. The dynasty is not slowing down. If anything, it is just getting started. At the center of it all is a 27-year-old right-hander from Okayama, Japan, who now carries a 2-year postseason line of 7-1 with a 2.25 ERA across 10 appearances, who came to Major League Baseball on a record-breaking contract with the entire sport watching to see whether he could justify it, and responded by becoming a World Series MVP in his second season, who went into Game 7 of the World Series on 0 days rest, not because his manager asked him to, but because the game needed him. And he is simply not built to say no to that, who threw 235 pitches in the span of 1 week and then said quietly through an interpreter that he was glad he had been able to. YOSHINOBU Yamamoto will take the ball on March 26, 2026 in front of a packed Dodger Stadium, and the message his presence delivers to every other team in Major League Baseball will be louder than anything the public address announcer can say. The defending champions are back. The best pitcher in baseball is ready. And if the last 2 Octobers have taught us anything, it is that when this man has the ball in his hand and the season on the line, there is nowhere else on earth you would rather be than right behind him. If you made it this far into the video, you already know what to do. Slam that like button, drop a comment telling us whether you think the Dodgers can pull off 3 straight titles, and subscribe to Red Dust Report if you haven't already. We are putting out content like this every single week, and you do not want to miss what is coming. And if you want to see the World Series that effectively killed one of the greatest dynasties in baseball history, the moment a championship run ended and a franchise was never quite the same again, click the video on your screen right now.